Alright, this is Unit 2, Section 3 homework. This is the back page, 29 to 36. Alright, so we're comparing function values. The directions say write a comparison for the two functions with the given x value. So, what that means is I'm going to get a highlighter, but I'm going to take this number right here, 3 over 2, because it's telling me x equals 3 over 2. So I take that number, and anywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace x with that number. Okay? So on the first one, 29, that means I'm going to start with f, right? So I'm going to write f, and instead of x, I'm going to write my number here, 3 over 2, equals 6 minus 4. And then instead of x, I write my number. And because it's 4x, that's 4 times x. So I'm going to do 4 times 3 over 2. Now, I'd always just write parentheses anyway. And that way you can type it in just like this, and it will multiply like it's supposed to. And you do get the correct answer. Okay? So I can get my handy calculator out, unless you want to do this without one, which you can. But I'm going to type this in. So I have 6 minus 4 parentheses, my fraction 3 over 2, and my answer is 0. Awesome. Now I'm going to do that same thing, but I'm going to write the second one, so the g. Okay? So yeah, make sure you don't write the same one twice, because then you'll always get them equal, and that would seem really weird. Alright, so I have g, so g of, instead of x, I'm going to put my number, 3 over 2, and then 2x, or 2 parentheses, 3 over 2, minus 3. Okay. Get this out over here, and I'm going to type this in. So I have 2 parentheses, my fraction, 3 over 2, parentheses, minus 3. And, oh, look at that. I get 0 again. Okay. So, once you have your two answers, we can compare these answers, right? In this case, it's really easy because it's both 0. So the way I write my answer, I'm not going to write 0 equals 0, right? That's obvious. The way that you're going to write these, and this is also the way you'll see them on the quiz and the test, right, is I'm going to always do f of my number, so 3 over 2, and then I leave a little space, and I'm going to write g of my number, 3 over 2, and in the middle, in between these, this is why I have my space, I'm going to say whether these two answers are greater than, less than, or equal to each other. In this case, they're both 0, which means they're equal, so down here I just put equals, and that would be my answer. So that's how I want to write these answers on this whole page, okay? And again, that's just getting you used to how you will see it on a quiz or a test. Okay, so let's do number 30. Okay, so my x equals 153, okay? Which means I'm going to replace all these x's right here with 153. And then I get two answers and see how they compare. So my first one is f of 153. So instead of x, I write my number. And then I keep going. Equals 1 over 3, parentheses, 153 plus 12. Okay. Now, I picked a large number on purpose because sometimes, as much as you want to do some of these by hand, it's always better to check in the calculator anyways. So I have 1/3 parentheses 153 plus 12 and 63. Okay, so that's my f of 153. Now I need to do g. So I have g of, instead of x, I'm going to write 153 equals. Now this one's different, so 4 over 9 parentheses 153 minus 6. Okay, get my nice calculator out, or if you have your phone, don't slam it on your on your desk or table, wherever you are. You don't want to break it. So fraction 4 over 9, parentheses, 153 minus 6. And I get 62. Ooh, look at that. 62. Now, my answer, I'm going to go ahead and just write the f and the g first. So I have f of 153, leave a little space, g of 153. Okay, now I'm comparing my answers, right? So on this one, I'll go ahead and do it a little different just to show what I'm doing. And if you need to write this way, this is fine. So above, so on f of 153, my answer was 63, right? That was my answer. And then when I did g of 153, I got 62 as my answer. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm comparing the answers that I got and nothing else. So if I compare my answers when I did f and g, this number is larger, right? Which means f of 153 is greater than g of 153. And that's how I would write my answer. To me, doing it that way, I mean, for some people you might be like, oh, I don't need to write that. Okay, don't. But if you need to, if that helps to see what you're comparing, then do that. Just know on a test or a quiz, you're only going to see the f and the g. You're not going to see the answers. But if you need to, write the answers above it, and then I'm comparing these answers to write this answer right here with the sign in the middle. Okay? All right, let's do 6 more of these. So 31. Okay, I'm going to highlight. I'm just going to keep highlighting. Okay, so I have x equals 2, and I'm going to replace every x that I have with 2. Okay, so my first one is f. So I do f of 2 equals negative 5x, so negative 5 parentheses 2, and then minus 3. Okay, if I type that in, that's negative 10 minus 3, you get negative 13. And then I'm going to do the same thing with g. So I have g of 2 equals x, so I'm just going to do parentheses 2 plus 1. Now this one's pretty easy. 2 plus 1 is just 3, right? So we got that. So now I'm going to go ahead and start my answer. So I have f of 2 space g of 2. Okay, and if you need to, I'm going to go ahead and write the answers above. So f of 2 is negative 13. G of 2 is 3. And so I'm comparing negative 13 and 3. Well, negative 13 is less than 3, so f of 2 is less than g of 2. And then that's my answer. I'm done. That's 31. 32. I'm going to start with highlighting. That's what I've been doing. Okay, so on this one, x equals 1. So I have all my x's here. I'm going to replace with 1. So I have f of 1 equals 8x, or 8 parentheses 1. So 8 times 1, that's 8. So see, sometimes you don't really need a calculator because they're kind of easy. And then, oh, I need to change color. What am I doing? See, somebody needs to be here and be like, look, change colors. What are you doing? You gotta be consistent. All right, so I have g of 1 equals negative 12x, so negative 12 parentheses 1 plus 4. Okay, that's, let's see, negative 12 plus 4 is a negative 8. And now I can compare. So I have f of 1 space g of 1. And if I write my answers above, f of 1 was 8, g of 1 was negative 8. So if I look at these, f of 1, or 8, is greater than g of 1, which is negative 8. And I'm done. Guess I do need one other color. All right, 33, highlight. So x equals 8. So I'm going to replace all these x's with 8. So let's do f. I have f of 8 equals 1/2 x. So 1/2 parentheses 8 plus 6 equals, so half of 8 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay, now g. So I have g of 8 is still my x, equals 2x. So 2 parentheses 8 minus 6. Okay, so 2 times 8 is 16. 16 minus 6 is 10. So these are equal. This one's a lot easier to see. So I get the same number. I don't have to write my answers up here. I just go f of 8 equals g of 8. Okay, so yeah, the equals are probably the easier ones just because it's very obvious to see that they are equal. And moving on. 34, highlight. So I have -10, which means I'm going to replace all my x's with -10. So starting with f, I have f of -10 equals 4 minus 7x. 4 minus 7 parentheses, instead of x, I'm going to write -10. Okay, now if you type that in, -7 times -10 is plus 70, plus 4 is just 74. And g, -10 equals -2 over 5, so -2 over 5x, or parentheses -10 plus 5. Okay. This one would be, let's see, that's 9. If I'm correct, let's see. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let me compare. Now we compare these. So I have f of -10 space g of -10. And my answers I'm going to write above. So f was 74, g was 9. This one should be kind of easy to compare because 74 is definitely greater than 9 by a lot. And so that is my final answer for 34. All right, moving on. 2 more. 35. So x equals -7 over 2, so I want to replace all of my x's right here with -7 over 2. So I have f of, okay, now instead of x, right here, instead of x I put -7 over 2 equals 6x, so 6 times -7 over 2 plus 9. Okay, that would be -12. Is that right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So we got -12 for the first one. That's f. Okay, then we do g. So we got g of -7 over 2 equals -2x, so -2 parentheses -7 over 2 plus 2 equals, all right, let's see, that would be 9. Okay, so my answer, I'm going to do f of -7 over 2 space and then g of -7 over 2. And my answers above. So f was -12, g was 9, and now it's easier to compare. So 9 is bigger, so g is greater than, and that's it. And look, we're on our last question. All right. So look, x equals 0. I made the last one super easy. So I'm going to replace all my x's with a 0. And let's do f. So I do f of 0 equals negative 3x, negative 3 parentheses 0 plus 2. That'd be 2. And g. So I do g of 0 and 10x. So 10 parentheses 0 minus 1. That is negative 1. And I can do my answer. So I do f of 0 space g of 0. And let's write my answer. So f was 2, g was negative 1. And I can easily see from here that 2 is greater than negative 1. So f of 0 greater than g of 0. And I'm done. And look, we finally finished the whole homework, all 36 problems. Hopefully, if you have watched this far and you've watched everything, this has helped you tremendously. If not, please come ask questions or just, ask me in class. I help you all out for so much time every day. All right, this is the end of this video.